and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Disney is out of politics. Well, a little bit anyway. Disney is removing a lot of its political money from getting donated to a very specific presidential candidate that's currently running this year. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't generally dive into politics too much on this channel. We try to avoid that other than kind of the agenda stuff that's being shoved and forced into all of our media. But at the end of the day, Disney no longer funding political donations, no longer funding a specific political candidate is pretty crazy and pretty wild. I mean, this is a company that we've seen time and time again show that it was very obvious it had no problems pushing a particular political agenda, had no problem pushing a particular worldview into all of its television shows, into all of its movies, and into all of its children entertainment. And well, that's just absolutely failed miserably. So to hear anybody involved in the Walt Disney Company in any way, shape, or form come out there and flat out say that they are no longer supporting a political candidate from a party that they have been in lockstep with for a very long time is rather shocking. So yes, boys and girls, Disney is halting donations to Democrats. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, after the disastrous dumpster fire that told the entire world what so many people actually paying attention knew for a very long time, that Joe Biden was nothing more than a walking corpse, Abigail Disney is halting donations to Democrats in an attempt to force Joe Biden out of the presidential race. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, an absolute simp for the spirit of the age, an acolyte for the ways of the cult, someone who is down for the agenda, is pulling back from the only party that is completely and totally in support of the agenda. And don't get me wrong, it's a mixed bag over there. That's why we don't get into politics, so I don't do politics anymore, right? Because there's a bunch of crazy old boomers arguing over a bunch of crazy old boomer stuff that just ends up causing a bunch of us a bunch of problems down the line. You know, the old saying goes, politics is downstream from culture. Culture is the more important battle. The culture is the more important fight, and it always will be. Because culture is what raises the next generation. And no matter what you do in the political sphere, no matter how many times you push, no matter how many times you get involved, no matter how many times you get changed, even if you change things right now, if you don't fix things with the next generation, i.e. you don't fix the culture, then all of your hard work and all of your effort will be for naught, because as soon as you're gone, just like in the Old Testament, as soon as the great leaders that actually led the people in a proper way are gone, if you don't straighten out the next generation, it's going to go right back to the hell and brimstone that you were dealing with all beforehand. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Abigail Disney has woken up to the fact that things are so bad that good old Orange Man Bad will win if Joe Biden stays in that spot right there. And I think this is a beautiful, wild, and crazy thing to talk about. So boys and girls, we're going to check this out, because Abigail Disney is halting donations to Joe Biden, and that is absolutely hilarious, boys and girls. So let's check out this article, getting all the juicy details. Shout out to piratesandprincesses.net for bringing us this wonderful article, because God knows we want to avoid the mainstream as much as we possibly can. So before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, subscribe and or follow if you have not already. Leave a comment either in the live chat as we're doing this right now, or in the comment section down below, and let us know if you are shocked at the fact that things have gotten so bad that an absolute insane woke virtue signaler like Abigail Disney is officially pulling out of politics, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's get into it. Anyone who knows anything about Abigail Disney knows that she is a Democrat. The granddaughter of Roy Disney has not had to worry about money thanks to her grandfather and great-uncle Walt Disney. She is financially set because of two men. But that doesn't stop her from calling her great-uncle Walt sometimes, who bordered on fascism. Now she's using her money to attempt to force Joe Biden out of running for president of the United States again in 2024. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the most privileged among us, Abigail Disney, a woman who was literally born with a golden spoon in her mouth, who has never had to work a day in her life, believes she knows better than you and all the rest of the voters and all the rest of the fans and all the rest of the audience and all the rest of the customers out there, that she will use her money and her power and her influence that she did not earn and that she certainly doesn't deserve to go ahead and go out there and change your life, because she knows your struggles. She knows how hard it's been for you out there and how evil and bad that orange man is for you. She knows all about it because she's an elite. She's one of your betters. You're nothing more than a serf to her. She is royalty. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand. You must bow down and do what she says. So she will save the country. Ladies and gentlemen, she will save the world from the evils of Donald Trump and those conservatives and those Republicans and those weird people that don't pay attention to our movies and they don't buy our tickets because of our LGBTQ stuff. Those bigots. Don't worry. Abigail Disney is here to save you from them. Because even she realizes that no one in the world with any sense left whatsoever, no matter how much they hate the other side, no matter how much they agree with the cult, even they cannot bring themselves to vote for a dementia-ridden, delusional old man that should have retired decades ago. But hey, that's just the world we live in, isn't it, boys and girls? According to reports, Abigail is threatening to withdraw her donations from the Democratic Party unless President Biden is removed from the race and Kamala Harris is put in instead. Oh, please, for the love of God, the cackling moron who literally only got ahead in life by giving head. Yes, please, for the love of God, replace him with her. The woman who literally got knocked out after the first debate. Please, for the love of God, put her in here. The clips and the comedy alone will be worth every penny Abigail Disney spends. I intend to stop any contributions to the party unless and until they replace Biden at the top of the ticket. So it's not just Biden, it's the entire Democratic party that Disney is no longer supporting. This is realism, not disrespect. Biden is a good man and has served his country admirably, but the stakes are far too high. Yes, because that evil man, that evil orange man is so bad and so monstrous that he'll just ruin the world. And we can't allow that to happen. And I'll use my billions that I didn't earn to make sure that happens.
I was talking to your sister.
I was talking to my chat. Hi, honey. Yeah, I know. Hi, honey. Yeah, you just close the door if you want. But the stakes are far too high. If Biden does not step down, the Democrats will lose. Yay. Or if that I'm absolutely certain the consequences for that loss will be genuinely dire. Oh, the horror. Oh, the horror. She continues that Vice President Kamala Harris should be the presidential candidate instead. We have an excellent vice president. Yeah, the chick who was like, buses, they're big and yellow, and they take us to school. We all love buses. Aren't buses great? If Democrats would tolerate any of her perceived shortcomings, even with 1/10 as much as they have tolerated Biden's. Well, I think we just gave a prime example of that. And let's not kid ourselves about where the race and gender figure into that inequity. Oh, yes. She's accusing her own favorite party of racism and misogyny. The Democratic Party doesn't want to put Kamala Harris up as the presidential nominee because she's black and a woman. I thought this was the party that supported all of that kind of shit. Last I checked, Kamala Harris only got her job because of the head she gave and because of the color of her skin. And if Democrats can find a way to stop quibbling and rally around her, we can win this election by a lot. Talk about not being able to read the room. Talk about not being able to understand the elephant that's sitting right over your shoulder. If Joe was just a dementia-ridden old man, but had a bunch of really great handlers that surrounded him that could, I don't know, keep the economy going or keep the border secure or made it to where you actually had money in your pocket to go see the movies that pad this bitch's bills, maybe you wouldn't be in such a dire strait. It has nothing to do with the fact that you have a dementia-ridden talking person. Woodrow Wilson did that almost 4 times. It's the economy, stupid. It's always the economy. But you wouldn't know that because you've never had to worry about money a day in your life. Someone else goes and buys your groceries. Someone else drives you around. Someone else does your laundry. God forbid you had children, because I guarantee you someone else raises them. These people don't get it, and they never have. Abigail Disney is no different than every other executive at the Walt Disney Company or the major people that run Hollywood. They're the elites. They are the 1%. And Abigail Disney is the 1% of the 1%. This chick has no idea what's going on with the main street. Neither does anybody else at Disney. It's why their company's failing. It's why her legacy and her fortune are at stake right now. But she doesn't care. She didn't have to build any of that. She didn't have to work for any of that, which is why she doesn't respect it. It's why she doesn't respect her great uncle's legacy. It's why she's willing to call him a fascist. She's insulting the man that her lifestyle only exists because of him. Raise your children right. And I understand that no matter how hard you try, you're sometimes going to fail. But make sure their asses are in church every single Sunday, so they at least have some kind of decent foundation and reality of what the world holds. Because the statistics don't lie. They're more successful and they're better people when raised like that. So whether you agree with it or not, agree with the fact that you don't want to create another entitled bitch like Abigail Disney. Disney is not the only rich person threatening to pull funding from the Democratic Party. Other wealthy individuals have also made the same threats. This could cost the Democrats tens of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, President Biden has met with dozens of Democratic governors to assess his ability to lead. Governors from states like Minnesota, Maryland, and New York have decided to support the president for re-election, saying they're convinced he is fit to lead the country, which means they were probably promised a really cushy cabinet position. While the governors believe he is fit for office, the threat of financial loss from donors could lead to his removal. Time will tell. And unfortunately, that is the way the world works. Politics, money does buy politics. And Abigail Disney and many other like her that have literally built their fortunes on never having to work a day in their life will pull their money because they're petulant crybaby children and don't know how to stick it out through the decisions they made and the people they choose. This is the bed that she decided to lay in. These are the people she decided to align herself with. And she's getting exactly what she deserves. I hope they all lose. I hope they all burn down to the ground. The Walt Disney Company, Abigail Disney's fortune, Joe Biden, his candidacy, all the rest of it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny. It's a bunch of old boomers arguing over old boomer shit. Let them argue. Pull their money. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we're winning. The culture war is winning. So it doesn't matter who you put up to replace sleepy old Joe. It doesn't matter that you think Orange Man Bad is the most evil thing to ever happen to the world. Because guess what? The day after the election, the world's going to carry on. Doesn't matter if Trump wins. Doesn't matter if Biden wins. The world's going to carry on. And you're going to keep dealing with the same BS you deal with every day. Because until the culture changes, until the next generation is properly taught the real lessons of history and how the world actually operates, none of it's going to matter. But personally, I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny to see Disney pull all of her money from the one party that has been on their side and pushing their agenda nonstop. Boys and girls, that's fucking hilarious. Burn, Disney, burn. Abigail, do what you want. Because by God, your legacy has been destroyed and you have helped do that. Fortunately enough, all the fans out there, we're winning. We're fixing things. And if anybody's going to restore Disney to its proper glory, it is going to be us. And certainly not you, you insane, entitled, arrogant bitch, Abigail Disney.